Well, there's another case we return to again and again, as today marks 29 years since Minnesota native turned Iowa TV anchor Jodi Huisentruit disappeared. Police think somebody attacked her outside her apartment as she was heading to work in the early morning news shift in Mason City. But this year, this anniversary is different because time is ticking. The largest reward yet for anybody who can help find Jodi's remains expires today. The private investigator whose money it is talked to Jennifer Hoff about where he thinks Jodi is and why it's so important to keep sharing her story.
Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Jodi.
In Mason City, Iowa, everyone knew Jodi Huisentruit.
She was a big fish in a small pond.
The Minnesota native anchoring the morning news would make headlines, though, herself on this day, now 29 years ago.
She could be sitting in your chair today, but her career was cut short.
The 27-year-old disappeared on her way to work. Police reporting signs of a struggle outside her apartment back then, including a bent key. She hasn't been seen since, and no suspect was ever named. Asked the private investigator in charge of her case, and he's narrowed it down to 5.
And I will tell you that the ones that have opted not to talk to me have been particularly squeamish now in this era of having put up reward money.
Steve Ridge recently doubled the $50,000 he first offered last year, most of it his own money, part of a final attempt at more information.
100,000 seems to be the magic number because it has brought people out of the woodwork like I haven't seen. I mean, there are people that want to talk.
He's since gotten dozens of new tips leading to new searches this summer on land and water, outlined in his hand-drawn map with Jodi's apartment at the center of it.
We think that there is some additional recoverable evidence in addition to human remains that will be found in that location.
If Steve is confident,
a lot of people remember the day they heard the news.
Patty Wetterling is persistent, plagued by the disappearance of her own son, but not discouraged, reminding everyone at an event today to hold out hope because even Jacob was found 27 years later.
I think that knowing the answers, no matter how hard they are, it will soften the sadness of what happened.
From billboards to volunteers, there's a dogged determination to help find Jodi and finally bring her back home.
Now's the time for somebody to speak, and there's a lot of rumbling.
A lot of rumbling, says Steve. That investigator telling me just today that his team got permission from a property owner to execute one of those new searches next month. And while there's another ask also to leave your porch lights on through the weekend, just like people in Mason City did, Jana, back in 1995. Hard to believe it's that long ago.
Long time ago. Jennifer, is there any possibility that the reward stays active after today if they have leads or information?
It's a good question. I think at this point, Steve is so dedicated, and so are all those volunteers and the police department and everyone who has tried to help find Jodi to do just that, that I think they would be willing to probably have some conversation. But it's clear why there is, of course, an expiration date, right? Like that's really supposed to fuel some new tips. And if it were just to go on, then, but so I don't know. But Steve is certainly desperate to find her and would like to bring her home. So he'd do just about anything.
So many people are. Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.